So in this chapter, I guess more of the nuanced aspect of the Dandadan power system is being revealed with the Cosmos id. And I'm sure a lot of people are curious as to what that could be, and we'll get into that. But this chapter is starting off with us seeing Misadachi again. Last time we saw her, she was like battling against the gym teacher Murakami because, he was doing nefarious things to her or attempting to. And she wound up taking his severed head dribbler power with the Kozuka knife. And when that happened at the time, we were like, why? Because they're essentially both working for the same cause, and neither of them were each other's targets. And it turns out, yeah, that wasn't good, and it's coming back to bite her because we see her meeting up with this interesting looking individual. I don't know who this guy is. I'm pretty sure this is the first time we've ever seen him in the series. Don't know if he's human or alien. But it turns out that this guy, I guess, is working for Count Saint Germain or whatever this big Kozuka knife organization plan scheme thing is. Pretty sure it's Count Saint Germain, especially since this guy has the fairy tale card ability, which we saw Count Saint Germain get a couple chapters back. So this weird looking guy essentially confirms what we were talking about, how Misadachi was supposed to go after Rin or Yukishiro or just somebody that doesn't have the powers that Count Saint Germain already took with his Kozuka knives. Because the people that make the deal with Count Saint Germain are given specific targets through text messages. And obviously the gym teacher, Murakami, who was one of these people, would not be her target. She kind of just did that on her own accord because she was kind of double dipping, I guess. Her whole motivation is to pay for her mother's hospital bills or whatever. And I guess Count Saint Germain told her that he would help her with this if she went along with the Kozuka knife ability stealing scheme. But then she also took up Murakami's offer of him paying for them himself if she, did stuff with him. But while that was happening, she just decided to take his ability because she just thought, oh, taking any ability would be fine, not just the one that I was instructed to take. So now this guy who's being instructed by Count Saint Germain, I'm pretty sure, is like, hey, you screwed up. You got to give your powers back now. And as we also speculated about before, in order to take back the powers, you do have to go through this ritual of you submitting and surrendering and then getting cut. It's not like he can just take them back like the Ashwalan or something. And then we get into some really interesting dialogue here. So when she's protesting this, she's like, no, hold on, please, I'll swear I'll do it right next time. And then the guy's like, it's beyond you. In order to take away a person's abilities, it is necessary to make them surrender from the bottom of their heart. But there is nothing stronger or more difficult to understand than the human heart. A person with marvelous power would have an id cosmos, which does not fear even death. In order to defeat such a person, it is necessary to thoroughly attack the people around them, such as their relatives and friends. You are kind-hearted, so you could never be so cruel now, could you? So this is what I was talking about, this id cosmos. And when we see it, we see Momo like unlocking her Moe blast thing that she did to the Hoster Cur. So I guess this means that Momo for sure has this id cosmos. And at first I thought this said ID cosmos, but I think it actually means id. Like a part of the Freudian psychology thing, the id, ego, and superego. The id is like the primal instinct that we have, essentially. Like, for example, like if a baby is crying for food, it's not thinking about anything else. That's just its primal instinct. It's hungry, so it screams out, it wants food. That's all there is to it. So that's essentially what the id is. I hope I'm explaining that good. I could be wrong, but I think that's more or less what it is. So an id cosmos would be like a universal type of primal instinct. I don't know, this could be decoration English from Tatsu here. I don't know what the exact wording in Japanese is. This is more of a localization of what is originally being said, I assume. But I guess it just means that Momo has like this unbreakable, selfless will, essentially, where, as it says, she does not fear death, but she fears the death of her loved one. So in order to get through to somebody like her, you'd have to go through them. You can't just have her submit without others being involved. I guess that's what it means. Again, I could be wrong. It seems at this point in the story, it is open for interpretation. But anyway, the fairy tale dude just starts beating down on Adachi, trying to get her to submit to get the power back, and she just refuses until Officer Bega shows up. We haven't seen him since the last arc, I guess. And this is actually where it's revealed that this strange looking guy has the fairy tale card. I guess Kozuka knife ability, possibly. It's also possible why he looks this way. Like when the fairy tale card, like yokai transformation happens, maybe you just take on this appearance possibly. If not, maybe he's an alien. The fairy tale card is like this officer. The fairy tale card won't work against him. And it's because they have seen this guy before. He was there in that, you know, big arc ending battle in the previous arc. But I guess he's saying that because Bega just has like this unbreakable will. Maybe he also has an id cosmos or something. But I think because we saw like his flashback and how he's come to terms with himself at this point, he just can't be broken. And therefore he can't be taken over by the fairy tale card. I could be wrong, I'm just assuming, because we see that Adachi is instantly taken over by it when it looks at her. And it looks like he's hitting her with like a haragoshi, you know, like a judo throw, and then instantly restrains her. But then it turns out that the fairy tale card guy is gone. Now, I don't know if he took Adachi's power back. It might mean that she still has her power. I mean, she's going to be like a lingering character at this point. She seems like she's going to be important since the story is focusing on her so much. But then we're finally coming back to the other crew that we haven't seen for a while. They're finally about to leave to go on their journey to help Momo reverse the curse that's been done to her from the fairy tale cards board game curse thing, you know, so that she could finally get back to normal size, because she's been small for almost 2 years at this point in, you know, in our real time, not in story time. But it turns out that the curse is getting more effective on her, and it's getting to the point of where people are no longer starting to see her, such as like Vamola. So I guess we're at this ticking clock element now with Momo as to where they have to get the curse undone soon, or no one will be able to see her anymore. And I think this also plays into what was said earlier by the fairy tale card guy with the id cosmos. In order to defeat such a person, it is necessary to thoroughly attack the people around them, such as their relatives and friends. It's possible that there might be like another Kozuka knife guy out there, you know, once they get to where they're going, or Count Saint Germain himself or Saint Germain might use this opportunity to get Momo to give up her ability in exchange for like banishing the curse from her. I could see that happening. Like if he's able to get her Spirit Hands ability, which obviously he was going for earlier on in the arc with Yukishiro, maybe she willingly gives it up in exchange for the curse coming off of her, so, you know, she returns to normal size and her friends and family can see her again. I could see that possibly happening. But if Momo loses her power, it's pretty devastating. I mean, I guess she would get it back, but man, no powers for Momo and Okarun. I don't know. Let me know in the comments, guys. And if you liked the video, please give it a like and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.